Your dieting is like an emotional roller coaster. When the weight's going down, you're happy as a pig in shit. But when the weight starts to go back up again, all you want to do is sit on the couch, watch Netflix, and eat your favorite junk food. So, this is the ultimate guide to breaking the yo yo dieting cycle. I've struggled with yo yo dieting from the ages of 9 all the way up to 30 before I figured it out. I'm now 44 years old, and not only have I lost 20 kilos, I've kept that off for the last 14 years, okay? I've never put that weight back on again. I've also been a personal trainer and nutrition coach for the last 10 years, and I co-own New Zealand's only fitness studio for people over 40. We even won the Fitness Industry Award for Innovation because we do things slightly differently. And I've helped nearly 700 people lose, on average, 20 kilos, which to date is about 9,000 coaching hours. It's a lot of people, a lot of conversations. Now, I'm not trying to show off and brag about what I've done and how I've done it, but to show you that with the right skills, the right tactics, and experience, this is achievable for anyone. I've seen it happen. I have nothing to sell you guys either. No fad diet, no gadgets or gizmos or no program to sell you. I just want to share my advice and experience so you don't keep falling off the wagon, okay? There are a lot of people that are overweight, and I just do not want you to be one of them. I'm sure you're thinking, though, how did you do that? Is this real? What diet did you follow? How much exercise do you do? And how did you actually break the cycle? And how do you remain motivated? Well, I'm going to cover off all these things. And at the end of the video, there's going to be a 3-step process that you can implement tomorrow to break this yo-yo dieting cycle. So stick around, you don't want to miss it. You're not going to need too much motivation. You're not going to need any crazy diets whatsoever or super hard workouts, okay? So we're going to cover it all off very shortly. But first of all, have you ever wondered though, how many diets the average person goes on in a lifetime? Well, it's 61 diets in their lifetime. And this is according to a study that was done in 2016 by the National Eating Disorder Association. And the study found that, over the course of a lifetime, up to about 45 years old, 61 diets were tried. That is crazy, okay? Now, let me ask you another question. How different do you think your life would be if you did one diet, lost the weight, and kept it off forever? How much happier would you be? How much healthier would you be? What would your quality of life look like? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what this perfect outcome would be. So what we're going to cover what happens when you diet and why you gain the weight back. That's important. I'm also going to cover off, number 2, the real reason why you can't stick to a diet, and it's actually not even your fault. And then we're going to go over the 3-step process that you can implement tomorrow to break free from the yo-yo dieting cycle, okay? So first of all, what happens to your body and why do you gain the weight back? Well, there's really 3 things that happen to your body when you diet. More for looking after yourself, okay? It's an evolutionary protection mode. So your metabolism will slow because you will lose a bit of muscle mass when you diet. So first of all, if you lose muscle mass in your body, that is the engine of your body. Therefore, if you decrease your muscle mass by a couple of kilos, you will need less calories to survive, all right? That is if you don't resistance train. It's a different topic. What will also happen is when you diet down, if you were 100 kilos and you went down to 70 kilos, you actually need less calories to maintain a 70 kilogram body than you do a 100 kilogram body. And therefore, you just don't need the same amount of food as you did before, okay? That's why you're on a diet for. The other thing that happens, though, and certainly with extreme yo-yo diets, is what we're talking about here, is that you actually tend to move less. You have less energy because your body is getting to the point where you're starving it so much, and it's such a calorie deficit. Certainly, if you're doing things like no carbs or detoxes or intermittent fasting, things like that, your hunger hormones actually start to raise a little bit because your body is now starving. And when that starts to happen, you can't actually get over it. It becomes more than willpower. It's your body is protecting itself. It wants you to eat, okay? So when those 3 things happen all together, and they usually do as a result of your dieting, you then go straight back to eating old habits. You go back, you binge eat again, and you get stuck into it. And then what happens is, because your muscle mass is depressed, you're not burning as many calories off, it's very easy to overconsume, okay? And bodybuilders, like other extreme weight loss people, they do this all the time. They yo-yo diet up and down all year round. And some of those people put on massive amounts of weight after their show because they're starving and they can't control it anymore. And once you get there, there's not much you can do about it, okay? You did it wrong in the first place. And like when your metabolism does slow down, you need fewer calories each day, and it makes it so much easier to regain the weight, especially if you've done it in a very highly restrictive manner. There's something else called set point theory, and some experts believe that everyone's a set point, and this is genetic thing. So for me, I really struggle with getting any lower body fat than I got right now because I used to be a big fat guy, remember? So I sit at around 16% body fat, I think. I feel comfortable here. But when I do diet down, I do sometimes for a holiday and I lose a couple of 2 or 3 extra kilos. It's really hard for me. I really struggle to stay there. And what happens is then when I go back to my normal day, same amount of exercise, I gradually put a little bit of body fat back on just because that's where my body likes to stay. But I can't force it. And compared to where I used to be, I've forced down my body fat set point theory because I am active now. I did lots of weight training. I do lots of cardio. So therefore, my set point has been lowered over time. And it does take time, all right? So then the other thing as well is that if you deprive yourself a lot, so people go, I'm going to cut out bread, cut out sugar, cut out chips, cut out chocolate, cut out wine, okay? Then you actually want it more. It's a psychological phenomenon called reactance or psychological reactance, okay? And it's just a motivational state that occurs when somebody feels that their freedom of choices are being threatened. You've got kids, I'm sure. And if you say to that kid, do not push that red button, they want to push the red button more than if you ever said it. And if you didn't say it, they probably wouldn't want to push it. And it's because that the choice has been taken away from them. And it can be triggered by lots of things. Perceived loss of freedom is one of them. It can occur when they've been told not to do something, you want it more. And you can relate to this. We can all relate to this, okay? So the fact of the matter is if you start depriving yourself, you will want it more. Therefore, it's going to be very difficult to do that. Whereas if you understood, let's say that, a bar of chocolate has 200 calories and you've got 1,800 calories a day to eat, you can eat 200 calories. It is no problem, okay? It just fits into your budget. That's kind of the way I do it, right? There's lots of studies been done on this phenomenon, but basically one study found that when people were told they couldn't eat a certain type of food, they reported wanting it more. And you can relate to that. We all can, okay? So now what we're going to cover, okay, is you now understand that what happens to your body when you diet and probably why you regain the weight. So now we're going to go on to the real reason you can't stick to a diet. Team. So this is the real reason the real reason you can't stick to a diet. And it's not even your fault. So this is exciting bit. This is the stuff I really wanted to get to. So what we're going to do is, have you ever wondered why you can't stick to a diet? Well, let me tell you quickly about my keto journey. So when I was overweight, I'd read the keto thing and I was going to go, right, this is it. I need to do keto. I can eat bacon and eggs every single day. This is going to be amazing, good stuff. And I'd right, I'm in keto, done. And after a couple of days of eating like bacon and eggs and stuff like that, I started to feel quite yuck. I missed my bread and I missed my oats and I missed my biscuits and all those sorts of things. And at this point, it actually kind of was quite lean. I'd been on lots of diets at this point and I'd lost a whole bunch of weight. And I just thought this was the next thing. But what I used to do though was I used to track calories and stuff like that. And I used to so I went on this ketogenic diet and I was like absolutely just sick to the guts of it. And I couldn't stick to it. I couldn't stick to it because it was not familiar. It was not a way of eating I enjoyed all of the time. It was okay now and again, but it wasn't something I could do full time. I used to put butter in my coffees. I didn't like it, and it was really hard to stick to. So, when you try a diet that is so far left field to what you currently like to do, then you're really going to fail at it. And I failed at this miserably within a couple of weeks. And I did the same with paleo, and I did the same with veganism. And I watched the Game Changers, and I was converted to vegan, and I was into this. And the reality of it is, I just didn't like that way of eating. Therefore, I couldn't stick to it. And it's probably likely for you if you try a juice diet, or a keto diet, or a low carb diet, or a intermittent fasting diet. If you don't like that form of diet, it may well work, but you don't like it, therefore you're not going to stick to it. That's really the crux of why you can't stick to a diet, okay? It's not even your fault. It's just that you've been pushed this diet. It does work for sure, but it just does not work for you because it's the wrong diet for you. And you got to understand that, okay? So what you tend to find is that when you go on a diet, you got this something called the hole of hopelessness. I borrowed this from a business coach called Alex Hormozy, so thank you for this. And what happens is that you get optimistic and excited about a new diet or a new training program. and you go, right, this is it. I've seen the testimonials. Facebook has been smashing me with it. People have done it. People have told me this is amazing. And you like, it's called uninformed optimism. You're so optimistic about this new diet and you don't really know much about it, but you're kind of optimistic. Then what happens is you realize what you got to have to do. So for me and my keto diet, I realized I couldn't eat toast or my crumpets or my oats. And I was like, oh my God, this is like massive. I just can't do this. Like, then you get into the hole of hopelessness where you just go, I can't do this. This is killing me. You get anxiety, you don't feel well, and then you give up. And then you go bang, straight back into it, right? And then what happens is you find another diet, okay? And then you repeat the process and you go, this is amazing. Then you realize what you have to do. Then you hate it, and then you go back to the start again. And this is the cycle of yo-yo dieting, okay? Whereas if you do my approach, which I'm going to talk to you about very shortly, you just have to find something you enjoy doing and stick with that thing and learn it, okay? And you're just going to find something that you enjoy to do. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. And the reality of it is, if I'd stuck with a keto diet, quite possibly I'd be a keto convert. But I got to this middle part here and I couldn't stick with it, okay? But there you go. You probably realize that this is kind of how it works. This is this vicious cycle. I'm going to try and get out of this hole of hopelessness and give you something really cool that you can work with. So have you ever wondered what successful dieters do to lose weight and keep it off? And this is where I'll tell you what you need to know, not what you want to know, okay? So when there's been lots of studies done on long-term weight loss, and long-term weight loss is people have lost weight on average for about 5 years, okay? So there's long-term studies, and there's a couple of things they extrapolated from these people that they all did to maintain their weight loss. Now the problem is you don't know many people that have done this. I've lost 20 kilos and I've kept it off for 15 years. How many people do you know that's done that like me? Probably not many. But you do know lots of people that have lost weight quickly and put it all back on again. And you will be one of those people. So this is really what it takes. This is what it absolutely takes for you to not just lose weight, but maintain it. And I'm sorry for the bad news, but it is what it is, right? If you really want to quit yo-yo dieting and if you really want to maintain your weight loss, then these things you've got to incorporate some way, in some way, shape, or form. You've got to engage in a high level of activity, approximately 1 hour a day. That is not, in my opinion, high level of activity. That is about doing 10,000 steps. That is one gym workout. That is one walk with a dog or the family per day, right? If you can do that, you are doing amazing and you're on the right track to losing your weight, maintaining it. But this is every single day for the rest of your life. This isn't something you stop. They follow a low-calorie, low-fat diet. It is what it is. I do this. My way of losing weight is that the system I have found for me is tracking calories on MyFitnessPal. I do eat a low-fat diet and I maintain my weight. This is what works for me. And you have to find a way to do this within your own life. Regular eating breakfast. I have done intermittent fasting. I've done all the diets you can ever think of. And I used to find myself starving. And once I got through the mid-morning, I would have a massive dinner. I'd overeat, a massive lunch, and I'd snack all day. I'd eat all my calories in an 8-hour window and it didn't work for me. Okay. Eat breakfast. Studies have shown time and time again to maintain your energy levels throughout the day, keep you full, keep your hunger hormones, the leptin and ghrelins in check for you to do it, right? Self-monitoring weight. I know you hate stepping on the scales. I know it. But it's just gravity. If you step on the scales every single day, you will start to see the trend of what your body does doing weight loss. It is not a bad thing. It just keeps you in track. You got to have some way of tracking this stuff. It's like your bank balance. You check your balance once a week, twice a week, whatever that is, okay? If you didn't, you'd be in debt and you wouldn't know if you're saving money or losing money. You've got to do it. You've got to bring the emotion away from self-monitoring weight and just do it. Use it as feedback. And if the scales are going up, you need to do more activity and eat less. That is kind of what it is, okay? If it's going down, keep doing the same thing. It's fantastic, all right? But you got to self-monitor it. You got to maintain a consistent eating pattern across weekends. You cannot just eat like a bird for 3 or 4 days and smash it up on the weekend and drinking your beers and your barbecues and all this other stuff. You can't do that because the total calories across the week is what's important. And if you overeat on the weekend, you quite easily undo the 4 days prior to that. Okay, so you've got to do that. And this has come from a study. You can grab this down, type it into PubMed. You can read the study for yourself. Pretty interesting. So my 3-step process and how you can break the cycle, and you can do this in 10 weeks, okay? I know it, and I promise you it'll work. Just give this 10 weeks, okay? So first thing, rule of one. You're going to do one thing, okay? In each category. You're going to find one diet that is familiar to you, that you like to do, okay? You're going to find one form of exercise, something that you like to do, something that you enjoy doing, something that you can do without relative friction. So if you don't like running, don't run. If you don't like biking, don't bike. If you don't like going to the gym, don't go to the gym for now, okay? Find one form of exercise that you like to do. And then find one form of accountability, because you cannot be successful with any weight loss journey without a form of accountability. What does that look like? Number one, find a diet that's familiar. I track my calories. I enjoy that. It keeps me on track. It means I can eat whatever the hell I damn well like, provided my calories are right. If I want to eat chocolate, I will eat chocolate. I will track my calories. I did on the weekend at 800 calories from chocolate. It's fine. It's all good. All right. So you need to find it. So if you like carbs, don't do keto. If you love meat, don't do vegan. If you are vegetarian, don't do carnivore. And if you like to eat, don't do intermittent fasting. And if you hate shakes, do not do shake diets. Spend a little bit of time, find a diet that you think that you have a really good chance of sticking with, that's based on your eating preferences. If you do this, you are way, way more likely, okay, to stick to it. And that is the whole point. You should never start a diet that you know you're going to fail within 5 to 8 weeks or 10 weeks, okay? Just don't do it. It's a waste of time. Find something you like to do. So there you go. Next thing. Okay, you're going to find one form of exercise, just something that you like. I'm going to give you some guidelines. 150 minutes of cardio per week is a great start. It's about 20 minutes per day, all right? This is the minimum required to maintain your heart health, so you do not have a flipping heart attack, all right? Then you can go a little bit more. So you can start off with 20 minutes a day. Anyone can do that. It's about 2,000 steps, and you can build up and build up. I've done this personally myself. I've literally, the last 2-3 years, I've started, I think 3 years now, I started incorporating cardio. I used to get up in the morning and I would do a 10-minute walk, 1,000 steps. Then I go, well, I did 10 minutes, I do 15, bang. And now, after the course of 2 years, I've been sticking to this for a long time now, I walk 1 hour every single morning. Between 7 and 8, I walk every single day. Rain or shine, umbrella, I'm not going to melt, not made of sugar. And this is how I do it. So pick something for you. If it's swimming, do swimming. If it's biking, do biking. If it's playing squash, play squash. Then, or it could be resistance training. Do a gym circuit, legs, back, chest, do the whole body, okay? Just choose one of those exercises and do 3 sets of everything. That is your gym-based program. So you do some chest press-ups, or you do some shoulder presses, you can do some rows, you can do some squats, right? One exercise that you can do that's not going to cause you pain, not going to be too hard, and you just do it for 3 sets, take you 1 hour. Or anything you want to do that gets your heart rate up and that you can manage for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes per day. And you, with the intention of building it up to about an hour, okay? Okay, next bit. One form of accountability. You've got to have accountability. There are a couple of types. Internal accountability. This is the type of accountability we hold on ourselves, which is really difficult to do. It's based on our own values, our own standards, and it motivates us to act in a way that's consistent with those values. And examples include setting goals for yourself and tracking it. If you like to spreadsheets and trackers, do this thing. Keep a journal. Really works well for a lot of people. Seek feedback from others, right? Practice self-compassion. And these are the things that's going to help you stay accountable to true to what you want. So if you say, I'm going to be a role model to my children, or I want to be better looking for my spouse, this is the internal accountability that you need. And if you read your goals and set goals every single day, you're going to be able to stay true to it. And I get my clients to read their goals every single day, because I know over time that the people that read their goals the most are the ones that are the most successful. Okay, so it's really important to do that. Then you've got external accountability. This is the type of accountability we're held to by others. This is what coaches do, okay? Or your family or colleagues. And examples are going to be having a mentor or a coach. Really good way to do it, okay? If you need a coach or a mentor, then look for the one that fits within your values and consistency. And if it's grown younger, it's grown younger. If it's not, it's not. Find someone to keep you accountable. Join a weight loss group, okay? tell your friends about your weight loss goals. If you put it out there, and people are more likely to stay true to that because it's out in the air, okay? And people will help keep you accountable. Use a weight loss tracker, share your progress, do lots of these things. These are going to do it. And I've got the dog back in a second. So use a weight loss tracker, okay? One of those things. Whatever you need to do, choose one, something that you feel comfortable with, and choose it. When I first started, I used to have a big wall chart on my wall. I would tick off the days that I did workouts and I followed diet and the calories and everything. Nowadays, I just use my fitness pal. It works amazing for me, and I really do it. And I love to exercise, love to weight train, love to do all those things. And this is how I do it. I'm very good at keeping myself accountable, but like in the early days, I wasn't. I went through these scenarios. Okay. With all said and done, all right, then, I hope you found this video like informative. I hope I've given you some insights and some tools that you can maybe take away with you and try and do the best to break this yo-yo dieting cycle, because I do know it is hard. I have been, like I said, but really the three things that you need to do are find a form of exercise, find a diet that you can kind of stick to for long term, and then a form of accountability. And with all those things in, give yourself 10 weeks to give this a nudge, and then you can reiterate. And if you don't like the part of the diet, then find another diet, find something and find another way to do it. Like I said, the best way I have found personally for me is to track with my fitness pal, because I can eat lots of different things. It makes me learn about calories and carbs and proteins and fats, and I kind of understand it way better than I did. Because when you follow a diet blindly without the intention of understanding what it's all about, then you're going to fail because you're not sure what worked. And then you can progress with your exercise. You don't have to do everything at once. You can start a weight training program, then add cardio. That's exactly how I did it. Or you can start a cardio program, then add weight training, or you can just play squash or walking or running, and then you can add these other things in the more you get into it. Because the fitter and stronger you get, the more you want to do. Okay, that's the reality of it. There's no better feeling than the feeling of fit. No better feeling than the feeling of lean and being on top of your game and everything else. Okay, then you just keep doing it. Whatever you decide to do, keep doing it. Iterate, learn, change it. Iterate, learn, change it. And over time, that 10 weeks becomes 20 weeks. 20 weeks becomes 40 weeks. 40 weeks becomes 60 weeks. And before you know it, I'm hoping that you will be in my position of 14 years on the track, never put the weight back on again, and you're in a much happier, healthier place for it. That's my video. If you liked the video, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe, do whatever you need to do. And if you would like a video on a certain topic, let me know in the comments. I can do a video for you. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you on the next video.